to the call. Yes. So excited for this call, Artist Development 101 with my dear friend Drake Murphy, who I've already kind of introduced. I met Drake when I was 14, and we didn't meet in person until 2019, which is kind of crazy. But literally, we'd been collaborating via, I want to say it was MySpace Music in the beginning. Like, that's how we originally connected through Chad, right? For years. Like, that's just wild every time I think about it, just the way that that all happened. Also, by the way, congrats. He is now a new dad, new husband, new dad. Round of applause. Um, Anyway, long story short, Drake is super seasoned, world traveling musician. He's won awards. He's dropped as many, if not more, albums than I have. So y'all know how crazy that is. He's actually building his own artist development programs right now. So when he was telling me about it a couple months ago, I was like, what the hell? We have to do a call with HRDRV. So he already loves you guys. So he was down. So expect to see a lot more of him on calls with us as we're building things together. One thing I'll say about artist development traditionally is that you guys know that's something that major labels did for artists when they got signed or before they got signed. So that involved anything from media training to vocal lessons, performance training, fitness training, endurance. Like there's just this whole world around artist development and loads of other things that prepare an artist to be a product. So today artist development is a complete lost art. Labels don't do that anymore. They expect you to just walk through the door and be a star, have 1 million followers plus. It's just a totally different game. So thankfully, there are a handful of people like Drake and myself that still know what artist development is and how literally critical it is for a lifelong career in music. You know, the greatest artists all went through artist development in some form. It's like building the foundation to your house. So that's my spiel. I'll let Drake intro himself a little more if he would like to, but honestly, we could roll into whatever presentation you have for us today. And I do know that he wants to make sure that everyone gets their questions answered. So please come bring the questions, put them in the chat. And yeah, I'll let Drake take it from here.
Word. Thank you so much, Mickey. Thank you. Yeah, we met when she was 14. Chad Beats hit me up and was like, yo, I got this girl signed. And I was like, oh, word, send me some. He sent me her page. I was like, how old is she? It's like, she's 14. And then I pressed play and I was like, she's 14. What? And so we just, sounds just like Chad. That's funny. But yeah, from 14 on until we've been cutting records. And it's crazy how Mickey has grown into somebody that I look up to. And she's a visionary. What she's done with HRDRV, oh my gosh. I remember back when it was bedroom and she was just in her bedroom cutting records. And now to see the platform that she's built and how many artists that she's helping, I'm honored to be on this call talking to you guys. And one thing that I want to, well, two things that I want to say. Number one, pat yourselves on the back because y'all are brave as hell. Going on this journey, pat yourselves on the back. Good job. Number two, I want this to be interactive. I don't want to just sit here and talk to the camera. So I would love your feedback, your input, all of that. And then, as Mickey said, we'll have the Q&A section. We'll do that at the end. Cool, sound good? Y'all ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Woo! All right, I'm gonna share my screen.
Share away.
All right.
Yes. Handy dandy Canva. What would we do without Canva, y'all? Have y'all thought about this? I would literally not be okay.
All right, artist development 101. Like Mickey said, this is a lost art. I think it's a lost art in an amazing way though, because now everybody has a studio in their bedroom or access to somebody else's studio and they could just be themselves. And one thing that's amazing about today's culture is you have the opportunity to be yourself before a label can tell you who to be, right? But the label hit the nail on the head when they developed artists. So now these artists come in and they are so underdeveloped. They have one hit, and then once they put out their next record, most times it's a flop, you know. And then we have artists like Lil Nas X, who has clearly been developed, you know, from Old Town Road to the stuff that he's doing now. He's a completely different artist, and they saw a lane and they developed him to go into that lane and conquer. But you could also do the exact same thing by yourself, independently. So let's jump into it. Artist Development 101. How to achieve greatness as an artist in 7 steps. Literally 7 steps. It's so easy. Here we go. Can somebody answer this question for me? What does it take to be great? Can I get somebody to answer it?
I want to, but I'm not going to. Y'all better say it.
Discipline.
Determination.
Sacrifice.
Innovation.
Yeah.
Ew.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Okay, this is what I think. Again, this is just me and my experience and the people that I've worked with, the conversations that I've had with label execs, with artists, all of that. Read this list. We're going to go through them today. All right, so let's go ahead, jump into number 1. Get your mind right. That's number 1. If your mind isn't right, everything else is going to fall. Trust me. Number 1, under this, mental and emotional health. This is a game where we hear a lot of no's. And if we don't have that mental and emotional dexterity, we can crumble, and it's scary. It's very scary. I've seen artists right on the brink of stardom, and they just fall, they fail before they even start because of the demand, you know? And once you really work on yourself and get strong mentally and emotionally, oh my God, everything else is just a breeze because you have that confidence within, right? Another part of getting your mind right is understanding the business. Understand the business of music. It's cool that you make hits. It's cool that your mom and your friends love your records, or thousands of people love your records. But do you want to do this for the rest of your life? If so, are you collecting all of your money? If not, why? Right? There's so many places. I wish there was one site to sign up with. Mickey, this might be an idea. I wish there was one site that you could sign up with, that they sign you up with everybody else.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Already on it. One royalty. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like you got Song Trust, you got BMI ASCAP. Like, it's a headache, but it's out there for you and it's available to you. The information might not be available. Well, I'm pretty sure with Hard Drive, Mickey has that information available. Mm-hmm. But to the common artist, that's not available. So there's just money sitting. And then when that money sits past a certain period of time, that money then goes to the label execs as a big fat bonus. And they're just taking your money, right? But that money is out there for you to get. And also under the business part, understand that it's a business. So when you go into negotiations and somebody throws a crazy contract at you, don't be like, oh, this person's stupid, this person sucks. No, it's a negotiation. They're going to start out with everything in their favor. They're going to start out that way. It's just business, right? And then they expect you to get a lawyer, redline the contract, go back and forth until you have something that makes sense to both parties, mutually beneficial, and then you'll sign it and we get started, right? But above all, it is a business, all right? So make sure you remember that. Make sure you remember that. And another part of getting your mind right is just an unwavering focus and a drive. I watch Eric Thomas a lot. I'm not sure if y'all have heard of him, but he has this one video where he's talking about going out and meeting this guru because he said he wanted to be successful. So the guru was like, all right, meet me at the beach at 4 a.m. So the guy goes out to the beach at 4 a.m. and the guru is like, meet me in the water. So the guy walks out to the water. He's about knee height. And he's like, come further. He goes up, now it's at his chest. He's like, further. Now it's right under his nose. He's like, do you want it? Come on out. So he goes out, and now the water is above his head. The guru pushes his head down and just holds him and holds him. The guy is kicking and fighting and screaming. Well, not screaming on the water, he died, but kicking and fighting. And then he finally lets him up. And then he asked him, he said, what is the one thing that you wanted to do more than anything else? And the guy said, breathe. And Eric Thomas says, when you want success as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. Like, you have to have that level of focus and drive and determination. Never let anybody dictate your future. You got this shit in your hand, 100%. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. You have to hold yourself to that level. If you wanna breathe, you have to breathe. If you want success, go and get it. It's out there for you, all right? So now we're gonna move on to getting your body right. Mickey said a word earlier that just struck a nerve: endurance. That's number 2 on my list. But number 1, physical strength. I can't stress enough how important it is to be physically in shape for this game. You can get up on stage, and for me, whenever I'm performing, every single time there's a bit of nervousness. You know, I turn that nervousness into excitement, but there's a bit of nervousness. No matter if it's 8 people or 18,000 people, there's always that bit of nervousness. And with that, the exact same thing happens with nervousness and excitement, a rush of adrenaline, right? So when you get that rush of adrenaline, your body just goes into hyperdrive. Your heart starts beating hella fast. How are you gonna sing when your heart is beating so fast, right? You have to get that endurance up so that no matter how fast your heart is beating, you got this. You know how to sing through that. You know how to rap through that. You know how to play through that. So endurance, strength, durability, all of that leads up to confidence. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you perform good, right? And when you perform good, they love you. They love you. This isn't like no body shame and none of that shit. I'm talking about, if you want to be at the top of your craft, you have to perform at the top. You have to be in peak performance. Like, everything has to be ready to go. Next, strengthen your tools. Strengthen your tools. Vocal exercises. If you're a singer and you're not doing vocal exercises, I don't know what you're doing trying to be professional. Like, it doesn't make sense if you're a singer and you're not doing vocal exercises. And I'm not talking about just warm-ups. I'm talking about, like, if you're in the NBA, they're in the gym all the time working out, all the time working out. And it's got to be the same way for music. You guys are professional musicians. I don't care what the haters say. I don't care what anybody says. If you are charting this path, you need to view yourself as a professional musician, 100%. And with that, it takes going that extra mile. Even when you don't want to do the vocal exercises, just thinking about, okay, what would Drake Murphy 5 years from now think about me skipping today? Because me skipping today might skip tomorrow. And then if I skip the next day, hell, I don't know when I'm going to do them again. And then 5 years down the line, you're doing spotty work, you get spotty results. But if you're consistently developing your tool set, your voice, practicing your instrument, oh my gosh, you gotta be better. Like, you force yourself, do it for yourself, do it for the future you, okay? Learn your damn DAW. Learn your digital audio workstation. If you work in Logic, Pro Tools, Cubase, Fruity Loops, any of that, learn it, okay? Like, there's certain things that you should know how to do as an independent professional musician or a professional artist. And that's knowing how to export your files for mastering and mixing, knowing how to do remote sessions with other artists, knowing how to wear all of the hats. This one's very important. Knowing how to wear all of the hats. When it's only you in a computer, you are now the artist, you're the engineer, you are the producer, and you're the listener. So you have to know how to wear all four hats at the same time. So please put in the work, to learn how to just zoom through Logic, learn the shortcuts. Like if you're scrolling up and pressing the record button, you're wasting time. Hit R, right? It saves time. And constantly save your sessions also, because you don't want to mess around and lose power and lose the whole session. That's happened to me before. I don't want that to happen to y'all. So after you strengthen your tool, there's the part that I'm excited about. Find your world. What do I mean by that? Who are you speaking to? Who are you speaking for? You know, what is your why? That's really the underlying question. Why are you doing this? Are you just having fun? If you're just having fun, cool. Have fun doing it. You know, if you're making music just for the clubs and just to have people to dance, you're still speaking to someone. You're speaking to the people in the clubs. You're speaking to the people who want to party, right? So even if somebody says, oh, your music is, it lacks substance, you're talking about this and that and shaking out, who cares? You're talking to someone. Your music has a purpose. What I want you guys to do is find out who you're talking to, because once you find out who you're talking to, you can find where they are. And then when you find where they are, oh my God, you got them. That's the key right there. Now, this is what I teach my clients. Creating your ideal listener. What an ideal listener is you know deep down inside who you're speaking to, right? I'm speaking to the guy, to the Black man who loves rock and roll music, but feels some type of way playing it out loud because somebody might be like, oh, you listen to the white boy music, all of that stupid shit, right? That's what I dealt with in high school. Like, I loved rock and roll. I wanted to play it. And then when Pharrell came out, that's why I got to post a picture of Pharrell right there, because like, I love that guy. When Pharrell came out with NERD, oh my God, I pumped that first album In Search Of, because he was speaking to me. He spoke directly to my soul. Young Black kid searching for a way in life, who's different than everybody he's around and just feels like he doesn't fit in, but he knows he's destined for something great. Pharrell spoke to me. And because of that, I'm his #1 fan. I've listened to everything. I've been on stage with Pharrell before. Like, I love that guy because he spoke to me. He gave me that confidence when nobody else gave me that. And what I'm telling you is, you have that same person out there waiting for you. They just don't know you exist. They don't know you exist. Let them find you. Let them find you. Now, let them know you exist. How do we let them know we exist? We can use our social media, but with that, you could just post whatever you want and just pay attention to likes if you want, you know, feed your ego. I'm going to tell you that's not going to feed your bank account, and that's not going to bring people out to the shows, because you're trying to talk to too many people. You're trying to talk to the whole world. Find your ideal listener, create your ideal listener. Actually, let me dig a little bit deeper into creating your ideal listener. Find out where they shop. There's a certain type of person who shops at a Whole Foods, somebody who probably doesn't have much financial strain, somebody who cares about health and cares about eating good food and doesn't want to put trash in their body. And then there's the type of person who shops at Walmart also. You know, not saying one is better than the other, it's just two completely different markets. Two completely different markets. There's the type of person who shops at H&M to get fashion forward clothing because, you know, H&M, they just steal whatever's hot and just reproduce it for cheap. And then there's the type of person who goes straight on Fairfax and LA, straight to the manufacturers themselves and gets the real shit, right? It's just two different markets. Not saying that one is worse than the other. But when you find your market, when you know what they do, then you can go straight to them. Because now, if your market is the type of person who's a super fashion forward person and they have the money to go and buy Supreme lighters for $75, if they're spending their money on that, then you know that your fan base has extra income that they can spend. So now you can market differently. You don't have to sell your shirt for $20 just to earn $5 profit. You don't have to do that. Now you can look at it and say, all right, my people are into fashion. Let me get with somebody who knows how to design a shirt really well or a hat, and let me create a whole brand outside of what I'm doing with music. Let music be the conduit to reach them so that I can really feel their needs, right? It could just go so many different layers. But all in all, once you find out everything about your ideal listener, there's 7.4 billion people on this earth. They are out there. All you have to do is find out who you're talking to, find everything out about them, and create them. Create that ideal listener and put the music in places you know they're going to be. They're gonna hear it. So stay in their faces. Stay in their faces. Don't let them lose sight of what you're doing and all of it, you know, and be personable. That's in my next slide, but get to know your fans. The reason being is because they matter. They're people. They're feeding you, they're buying your records, they're supporting you, they're coming out to your shows, they're doing everything. This is a relationship. If you want a good relationship, you have to give. You have to give. You have to make sure that they are fulfilled. I'm jumping ahead of myself, so I'm just going to skip this. All right, or skip to this. All right, so interact with your fans. This is how you bring them into your world. Interact with your fans. Like, don't just look at the comments under your post with you singing and hear or see people saying, oh, that's hot. Respond to it and don't be like, oh, thank you. Say something, like acknowledge them as a human being, say thank you, and then something else. Even if you have to go to their profile and comment on one of their pictures, like, you as the artist are so much bigger in their eyes than you think. They're looking at you like, oh my God, this person created this song that has never existed before in all of life. And because they've created this song, I get to feel this. I get to feel a certain way. Thank you for creating this song. That's how your fans are looking at you. They're not looking at you as like, oh, this is just a throwaway record. Nah, they love you. They love you. Your fans love you. You just have to bring that love out of them. Give them a reason to show you that love. And the way you do that is by showing them love. That's a major key right there. I promise you. Add value to their lives. So many different ways to add value to their lives. You can have contests for them to freaking have a conversation with you or whatever, you know, or just hopping into a DM, just being like, yo, thank you for always supporting me. I hope you're having a great day. That goes a long way. It goes a really long way. The Ryan Leslie method. I'm not sure if you guys know who Ryan Leslie is. He's an amazing producer and songwriter and artist, but he's also a brilliant mind. And I'm sure you all know the artist Cassie. Cassie was the first artist on MySpace under Ryan Leslie's guidance to do a one-to-one conversion with album sales to followers, meaning every single follower on her page bought that album. And they didn't release it on Spotify, Apple Music. This is before that. This is before any of that. They sent them a folder with all of the songs. They didn't release it in the stores. They didn't release it on iTunes, none of that. they talked to their followers. And what Ryan Leslie did is he had a team of people generating conversations with them. So there was probably 5 interns in there just talking to how many followers? I think she had like 150,000 followers at this point, and they were just talking to the person, and they built such a rapport that Ryan Leslie created a phone number to text, a text only, and was like, yo, I'm doing a show in your town. What's your number? I'm going to text you the info, let you know about it. Now, even though you can talk to them on Instagram, once you get somebody's number, that means a little bit more, right? So now you're talking directly to that person. They felt special and they were right in his hand. And he was like, yo, or she was like, we are releasing this album and I want you to have it. Do you want to buy it? And the way they did it, everybody said yes. And I think he made like $14 million or something crazy off of that just by talking to them. Just by talking to them. Her followers didn't go up. She didn't care about that. She cared about the people who were actual fans. And she fed the fans. She showed the fans love. And because of that, there was a 1-to-1. And then they didn't need anybody else. They didn't need anybody else. They had all of the money that they needed to push her career forward. You know, they made decisions after that. She ended up signing with Diddy and all of that. But regardless, that method is still working today once you show your fans love, right? And all of this, I'm telling you, might not sound like artist development in the cliche way, like get out and just sing and do this and do that. No, this is like development as a person that happens to be an artist. So you can be an artist or you can be the type of person that just does this shit. You can be the type of person that just happens to win Grammys because it's what they do. But that is not by happenstance. That is thoroughly thought through and designed, right? So this is like so much deeper than any list you'll find on Instagram or Twitter on how to develop yourself as an artist. Also, I got this one from Mickey, the in-person hangouts. Like back in LA, she would have people come by the hard drive headquarters.
That's starting again. April 30th
Hey.
is my first one.
April 30th?
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other thing. We'll email everyone about it.
That's fire. But I would sit back and just watch how people would move, and I would just see how grateful people were to just be in an environment that shows them love, in an environment where there are people who are just like them, you know, and having those hangout sessions with your fans makes you more of a human, and then they have more of a bond. They have a bond with you now, and so it's so much deeper than I'm just a fan, you know. And this is, I'm not telling you to do this when you have 10 million screaming fans. That would be hectic. But building up, you want to build that core fan base so that no matter what, they're always going to be right there with you. And this is a really great way that I saw Mickey do it. And you guys could do the exact same thing. You don't have to have your own headquarters. You can meet up at Chili's. You know what I'm saying? You could meet up wherever and just show your fans some love. Okay, so before I jump into number 7, somebody answer this. What do these two have in common?
Illuminati.
Yes.
I would say they have an empire.
They do have empires.
Yeah.
They have loyal fan bases.
They do. What else? What else?
Multifaceted.
They're unapologetically themselves.
Mm. Yeah. Anybody else?
Consistent.
They are consistent. Yeah.
I would say they've both been pretty transparent about their journey leading up to the point they are now.
Oh, speak on that a little bit. What do you mean by that? I love that answer.
LaJada left us. She dropped the. She came and dropped the
Oh,
gem.
she did.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, like they both have had like documentaries, you know, just kind of showcasing everything they went through, and Lady Gaga is really kind of transparent about all the things she kind of goes through on a day to day. Jay, not so much now, but he kind of talks about the past and you know what he was into before. So I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. And that leads me to number 7. Growth. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I jumped ahead of myself. Keep them in your world. Grow and evolve with your fans. That's what they did. Jay-Z wasn't worried about getting new fans. Jay came out and took the world by storm. Lady Gaga came out and took the world by storm. And they weren't chasing after somebody else's fans. They grabbed their fan base and they grew with that fan base. So the people who liked Jay-Z when Jay-Z first came out are now in their upper 30s to 50s and above, right? Jay-Z's not worried about getting an 18-year-old to like him. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't need them. He has his core fan base. He never left his fan base. He evolved with his fan base. If you look at the early Jay-Z videos, you see him riding in the S550 Benz with the rims on it. And then all of a sudden he drops a song where he says, "No chrome on the wheels, I'm a grown up for real." And that's when he was in his late 30s, because guys in their late 30s, they're over that phase. They're like, man, I don't need that. Like, my car speaks for itself. My car is worth more than whatever, right? So he recognized that his fan base was no longer in that headspace, and he evolved as a human. He evolved as a person, right? And same thing with Lady Gaga. Like, a lot of people don't know that Lady Gaga is 2 artists. She's Lady Gaga and Stephanie Germanetta, if that's how you say her last name. But Stephanie Germanetta is an amazing actress, like one of the most amazing vocalists you will ever hear, singing with legends and just, oh my gosh, phenomenal. You've seen her in A Star Is Born and you heard her sing in A Star Is Born, but also you look at Lady Gaga, the pop artist, you know, and she evolved with her fan base. And so the last thing I will tell you guys is one of the most important things about artist development is you'll never stop developing. You'll never stop developing. Please don't stop developing. Please continue to grow. And once you outgrow what's popular in culture, who cares? Your fans have outgrown what's popular in culture. Keep feeding your fans. You don't want to be 80 years old trying to find somebody new, but for some reason, Willie Nelson is still touring. Willie Nelson is still singing to his people. I don't know if Willie Nelson's alive. I think he is. And if he is, he's singing to his people, right? My man, Willie, I think he is. But for real, stay consistent with your people and give yourself grace. Allow yourself to grow as an artist. And remember, if you want this, you gotta want it as bad as you want to breathe, because nobody's gonna take it light on you. Nobody's gonna be easy on you. Nobody's gonna hand this to you. But the people who do last are the people who are like, I don't care. I don't need anybody else's opinion. I don't need anybody else to tell me that I'm good. I know that I'm good. And there are people out there who know that I'm good. And I'm talking to them, not you. So shut your mouth. I'm going to stay focused on my people. If you are not my people, don't talk to me. Don't let them get in your head. If they are your people, they are there for you. But also remember to grow with your people. So don't steadily talk about the same thing. Stay involved with your fans. They'll let you know where they are. They'll let you know what they're into. And remember that you have a great influence over them. So they'll probably do what you say. So please be careful with that power. Okay.
Ooh, that's the bar at the end. Yeah, be careful with the power. I know there's at least, I think most people on this call are like, but wait, what fans? Hold on, we have to talk about this. Wait, wait, was that Drake? I don't want to cut you off. Was that the end of this slide? That was
Yeah, that's the end.
final thought there. Okay, perfect. I mean, that was an incredible overview. I mean, I don't think I could add anything to that, but I do want to dig deep in these last 20 minutes that we have on the fan base part. But I saw Solo had his hand up. Solo, did you have a question?
Hey, what's up, guys? Solo Scott here.
Go,
I wanted to add to what he was talking about like continuing to evolve and stuff. So basically, the reason like major brands have had longevity, right, and have had a major success is because at the beginning of their, they were building their brand and stuff. They understood their audience that they were reaching. Like he was saying, find your fans, the people that are gonna gravitate towards your product, your brand. So they developed that throughout the years. And not only that, they continue to innovate and recreate and renovate themselves while still remaining the brand, the core brand. So I think that's what works in general for anybody that's trying to establish some sort of product or a brand into the consumer's ears or eyes. You know what I'm saying? So yeah basically.
No, absolutely. Thank you for adding that. I think that one of the biggest themes during Creator Camp in early March, Drake, I wish you were there next time you got to come, was this phrase, messy action. I think that, not even I know that fear paralyzes most people from like doing anything. And I read a really dope quote this morning. Who wrote it? Oh, I follow him, Mitchell Clark. I think it's Mitchell Clark on Twitter. Anyway, he said, it was something along the lines of fear paralyzes you, right? Because it's unfamiliar, not because you're incapable. So things, does that make sense? I'm trying to tie it all into one thought, but at the end of the day, we're afraid to, let's say, post more because it's like an unfamiliar practice to us, but it doesn't mean you're literally incapable of posting more. And the way messy action comes into it is that your posts don't have to be perfect. Your songs don't need to be perfect. There's literally no such thing. It's just that taking the messy action and having the trust and confidence in yourself that you can correct things and, pivot as you go along. Right? So hopefully that made sense. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, yeah. So going like literally off of your point and what you said, because it sparked in my head is, so I had this like custom jacket that I'm working on for like this new project that I'm doing. And for like the longest time, I was like basically quote unquote procrastinating, like starting this jacket because it's a spray paint on the back. Like I bought a stencil for it. I had to lay the stencil down, spray paint it. And I was like, fuck, like if I do this and I fuck up, like, oh my God, I'm going to ruin this jacket. Right. So I kept putting it off. And finally I was like, fuck it. Like, and any type of mistake that I might make could possibly be just like a happy accident or look kind of cool and give it a vibe. So I'm just going to go do it. I'm going to rip that Band-Aid off and just do it, because what it is just fear, not procrastination. That fear that's just paralyzing me, making me think that I'm quote unquote incapable of doing it, but it's not that hard. I just got to go do it. So that's basically like just a real quick point, but
yeah, absolutely. Who had other questions related to this as well, or just even more comments, thoughts? A little string of consciousness popping off right now. Where's Drake?
Right here.
Oh,
I'm just listening.
My gallery view is crazy right now. I can't even see. Tommy, go ahead.
What's up, y'all?
What up?
Drake, I was going through some of your podcasts, and there was one, and it was actually quoted too. And I kind of wanted to see if you could talk about it a little bit. You had said, "Do the crazy stuff and have faith that it's going to work out." I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about something that you personally did that you felt was one of those crazy things that did work, and then possibly something that you did that didn't work as well, and kind of like how you grew from that.
Okay. So back in 2019, I entered this competition for entrepreneurship. I think there were 15 people, and the winner would win $10,000 in seed money, right? I was at a low as an artist, and I was just like, you know what? I'm smart. I'm just gonna build another business. Let's see what's up. So I set out on this journey. Long story short, I won. I got first place. I got the seed money. And then something inside just didn't sit right. Something didn't sit right with me. And I talked to one of my best friends, and he was like, yo, what do you want to do? I was like, I really want to move to LA and just be an artist. I know I can build this business. Like the business plan was spot on, but that's not what I want. That's not what I want. And he was like, so just do it. He lived out in LA, and he was like, you can stay with me for 3 months until you get on your feet. I drove out there with him, and like I was at such a low that when I made the decision to be an artist, like truly be an artist, I was like, fuck everything else. I don't want to try to get on somebody else's tour. This is what I'm going to do. Where are the people? I said, okay, people are at rest stops. I drove across the country for 3 weeks playing at different rest stops. Just every rest stop that I came by, I played at it. And then I got out to LA, and fuck, man, I just had this energy that was just like, yo, I'm unstoppable. I can do whatever I need to do to make whatever I want happen. And I decided to move out to LA. I didn't have anything more than my friend telling me I could stay with him for 3 months, but it was the best decision I have ever made. And that's panned out with me like physically meeting Mickey, for the first time since she's 14, but also so many other opportunities, just like music being placed in films and television and doing shows out there. And more than that, I reconnected with my wife out there. Now I'm married and have a baby, and living my best life. And none of that would have happened if I didn't listen to myself and do the crazy shit. Everybody told me I was crazy. They were like, yo, you have a multimillionaire willing to back you on this idea. You are crazy to go into the unknown and just be an artist. But I was like, I can't live with myself if I don't. So I chose to do the crazy shit. I chose to do it, and it worked out. Something that didn't work out, let me see. Damn, that's a hard question to answer, because it's like when something doesn't work out my way, I always reframe it and see what I learned from it. And when I reframe it, I do it in such a way that it always comes out as a win. So like, damn, I'm stumped on that one actually.
Good.
That definitely makes sense though, and I feel like that's kind of a learning curve too that we all have to go through, is figuring out like taking those losses and not seeing them necessarily as an L, because you do get something out of it, and there's still growth with that. I feel like that's definitely a growth in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No doubt, man. Thanks for the question.
I really quick want to interject with a story that just happened to me where I didn't reframe it at all. So I went to a game, it was literally a week ago in Sacramento, and I nonchalantly ended up in a room with a guy that manages $200 billion, and the person that introduced us say, hey Mickey, he said, hey Mickey, do a 2-minute pitch on HRDRV. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm drunk right now. Like in my mind, I was drunk as hell. I fumbled, right? Like I didn't hit all the points you're supposed to hit in a pitch, because these are things that I'm learning right now about pitching your business. Whatever, wasn't prepared. Later, actually got another opportunity with the guy, and he was like, "Oh, I'm really interested in that." I was like, "Thank God." But anyway, I was talking to my friend about it after, and he was like, "Dude, that probably was not the right situation." And I didn't even think of it that way. In my head, I'm like, $200 billion. Like, oh my God, like what the fuck? But that guy could have been, I don't know, evil in some way, right? So all that to say, I'm still gonna go get this money for us, but I fumbled that one. And it probably wasn't the right situation. Ugh, still beating myself up. Who had another? Oh, I see Dave has his hand up.
Yeah, I have a question. What are your thoughts on social media and the priority of it? Because I think one thing I've realized is last year I did a lot of social media covers, like on social media, and there were quite a few that kind of, did pretty well. But I think ultimately, like as musicians, we want people to like listen to our music, and we want fans, to come in, and then we post something and then people go listen to it. What I realized is that, even though I was building this fan base on social media, I would post a song and then not get the equivalent or expected listens that I thought I should have. But now that I'm more focused on like just releasing music and not so much social media, I'm actually finding more success that way. So I guess to put a bow on it, my question is like, how do you feel like we should be prioritizing social media? Does it have this much, importance as we feel like it does? If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it's very important. I think it's a billboard for yourself, and it's a way to speak directly to people. If you rewatch this, go back to the part where I was talking about your ideal listener. If you're speaking directly to your ideal listener, then you're talking directly to your ideal listener on your socials also, right? And as long as you're just being completely yourself, they'll understand that, right? One thing that I will say is the cover bit. Back in 2015, I would always start out my sets with a cover. And it made sense. It made sense. Seeing something that people know, get them in the mood, get them hype, all of that. But my guitarist, who was much older than me, pulled me to the side and he was like, "Bro, you got to quit doing covers." And I was like, "Why? It's going over really well." He's like, "Watch how people react to the second song. They don't know that song. You put them in the mood to sing some shit that they knew, and then you hit them with a curveball." So if you're trying to be an artist, try to stay away from covers. And if you do a cover, make it yours. Don't sing it exactly like the artist sang it. And always stress that you are an artist. You are a creator. Don't just put yourself out there as a cover artist. And that's another reason why I never perform in restaurants, because restaurants and bars, all they want to hear is covers. When you go in there and sing your original material, they're like, can you play some 411s and 311? I mean, Freebird, play Freebird. I heard that a bunch. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm an artist, listen to my music. But I was going to the wrong places trying to force something that they didn't want, right? So you have this platform where you get to cultivate an environment of exactly what you want. So if you're cultivating your environment, just keep in mind that you are an artist and push that forward. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. It almost like reaffirms what I've been doing lately, because I'm just posting like my shit. I'm an artist, you're coming into my world, so you're gonna see my creations. And I've been seeing a lot more success and growth in numbers. So thank you for that.
No doubt.
Angela, do you have a question?
Yeah. Hi everyone. Hi Drake.
Hey.
I just wanted to know, how do you feel about producers, A&Rs charging artists in artist development? Like, is it a scam? Is it
That
ethical?
is a scam.
It's
Wait.
a scam? Oh, okay.
Wait.
I wanted to bring it up because I was so when I was 19, I was 18, 19, I was scammed by this one guy saying like he knows a lot of people and this and that. He was charging me 150 per session, but I had no idea that it was a scam until I found out eventually. And now recently, this one guy from Facebook, he reaches out to me. He's like giving me all this bull crap. Like he knows a lot of people. He has an old picture with Lady Gaga and like he has a studio. And he like twisted. Okay, I know. I didn't want to give the long story, but it's so stupid.
Hello,
So
please tell us the whole thing.
can I tell the whole thing?
I mean, like if it's 2 minutes or less.
No, it's I'm gonna make it less. So he reached out to me. He says he really loves my stuff and like he sees something special and like potential and stuff. So mom and I, we went. I wouldn't go to the studio alone, but like mom and I went. It was a really nasty studio, like rehearsal space, whatever in Studio City. And he, in the beginning, he told me that I would write songs for his artist, and he has clients. Like, I'm surprised. And like, he introduced me to one of them, this young girl at a private Steve Aoki NFT party. And like, I thought there was a red flag. Like, why is he, I don't know. It's just some kind of thing. Like he's trying to earn my trust. Right. And then he calls me and he's like, well, you have to sign a contract and you have to pay me because I got to get something out of this artist development thing. I'm like, what do you mean contract? You didn't say, like, why are you twisting it? You think I'm stupid? Like, but I just want to know if this is such a common thing in music for like, especially older men, because they do that shit a lot. And it's shocking. It's like, why are they doing this to young people, aspiring people in the industry, you know?
It's not laughable actually, because I've seen some people. I mean, it is because I know you're okay right now.
Yeah.
But like I've seen people literally get scammed out of like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's really disheartening because it makes it harder for people like me or Drake that are completely legitimate. You know, it's like you have to go harder. Well, now we don't, but I've had experiences. People have called me fraudulent, by the way. Like I've had experiences like that. I'm like, what? It's wild. Totally two separate categories here. I want Drake to speak to this because this is his call, but that is so common and it's so sad and it's really, like I said, disheartening. That's not how it works. You never have to pay a manager to listen to a demo. There's two different things. One quick thing I'll say. There's consulting, right? Which can require and should require a fee if you look the person up and they really have the credits they're talking about, right? And they're charging you for an hour of their time or something. There's that. There's a consulting fee. So if that guy had a consulting fee and you really looked him up and he was legitimate in all those ways and it wasn't a weird studio, like a Zoom, a call, a coffee, that makes sense for a consultation. When it's involving a network that they say they have and it's not them, it's the network that you're paying to reach, whether it's a record label or another artist, like that is when it's super scam. That's always a scam. I would never ask someone to pay me to meet someone that I know or for me to connect them. You don't pay for connections. You pay for someone's personal expertise. That's what the payment would be for, not a network. So that's my spiel. Yeah.
I gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry you went through that. That's crazy.
No, I mean, I almost like, and I'm very skeptical about it at this point. And he was testing me. He's like, you don't trust people, do you? Like he was trying to play with, like, try to find ways to like get to me. But right when he mentioned the contract thing, I was like, no, that's not like, it doesn't feel right. So I love to ask people like, how do they feel about these kinds of situations? And like, why is it such a legal thing to do at the same time, you know?
Yeah, like Mickey said, there's a difference between telling somebody, yo, I know this person and I can get your music to so-and-so, and somebody actually being there for you as a consultant and having them being able to coach you through what you don't know, you know? And even then, that's still kind of fickle, you know, because there's that balance of, how can I put it? So what I do with my clients is if there's no money put up, then they're not holding themselves to a certain standard, right? I'm not charging anybody, telling them I'm going to introduce you to so and so. I tell everybody straight up, I'm not responsible for your success. That all depends on you. I can give you the keys that I've learned throughout the years, but I am not responsible for your success. I can't make you a star overnight. That's up to you, right? And there are people out there who are selling that dream though. They're telling them, yo, I can make you a star overnight. Just give me $1,000 and I'll send your record to Russell Simmons. And nah, like all of that shit is a scam, you know? So it's like Mickey said, just do your research on those people. Do your research and see if they're really legit, see what their offer is and see if that offer is legit. And if it's something that could help aid you on your path to getting to where you want to go, I say that's worth some money. But if it's just some bullshit, like come to this party, but you got to pay me because I know these people, and nah, that's don't fall for that.
Okay, and what's interesting is, can I say one more thing?
Mhm.
That's fine. Just what's interesting is like this man does have credits, like he's a guitarist, and a lot of people are asking for his name, so I just dropped his name in the chat, shamelessly, but he has some credits. Yeah, he has some credits. I don't know, but I'll find it and like put it up. And he says that he has a consulting agency, and it's like not, but he doesn't have an Instagram. He's on Facebook, like, and it's not even, it doesn't look professional at all. So and when I asked him, I'm like, where's your social media? He's like, a lot of producers don't need social media at all. Like, look at Quincy Jones, like his is being managed. Like he was bringing up these stupid examples.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done here.
Yeah.
We're done here. We're done. I can't.
Yeah.
First of all, Eric Jackson is a kayaker. That is the first thing that comes up on his Google search. We're done with Eric. I'm so glad you dropped his name. We're going to start a database for these types of scams. I know Danny has a question, and we're wrapping up very soon. So Angela, thank you. I'm really glad that you brought that up. That's a really big topic that needs to be discussed more soon. Danny, hit us with it.
Oof, Angela, that has happened to me, and it's always the creepy middle-aged men. But anyhow,
yes.
It's fucked up. Hey Drake, thanks for having this call. So I have a question it's kind of goes around like time and dedication to your craft. There's like the saying that people always say, like, everyone has the same 24 hours as Mother Teresa, as Beyonce, as all these things, that you should be able to focus your time and your energy and have dedication to your craft and all these things. However, Beyonce has like 50 people on her immediate team. So we are independent artists, and yes, we do have to wear all these hats, but we can't do it alone. We just simply can't. Like, it's physically impossible if you want to like sleep and have a life. So my question is kind of around having other things in your life, especially like a side job or like, you know, like a side hustle that has nothing to do with music, to, for one, sustain your life and put a roof over your head. And does that take away from your time and distract you too much? Or could it be something that, because you have limited time now, you have to refocus your free time? You know, like, how do you balance? Like, I need to have a roof over my head, but I don't want to have a plan B in life, and, you know, those kinds of concepts. So what would you say is like a way to balance that?
Reframing.
Or do you just kind of live through the struggle and just scrape by? And I hate the idea of the starving artist. You know, it's like people who come out of school with a law degree don't have to starve. Like, if you do your craft, like, there should be a way that this doesn't have to be so difficult.
Yeah, I'll say that.
It's not gonna be difficult. Sorry, go ahead, Drake.
What'd you say, Mickey?
Who said it's not going to be difficult?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult.
No one said. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like the concept of a starving artist, like, it's kind of an old idea, and I feel like it's a toxic idea. And there's got to be a way to do this more balanced and healthier and still be happy and still want to pursue your dreams and not, you know, let it fuck you up in the head.
For sure. So what I always tell people is know that whenever you do get a side job, you're not working for them. That side job is working for you. You're doing this service in order for them to give you money that you could then put that roof over your head and also invest into your career. So yeah, if you need a side job, get a side job, but don't think about it as I'm working for this company. Think about it as this company is literally working for me. I'm doing a service for them, and in turn, they're giving me money to invest in myself. And like just that simple reframe will just shift everything. And now you won't be waking up like, damn, I gotta go to this dumbass job. You're thinking like, damn, I get to go and make money to fund my career. Let's go. Let's get this shit out of the way so I can get back to the studio. I'd say that that's the thing that changed it for me. That makes sense?
That goes back to number one, mindset.
Yeah.
Reframing is a huge, huge tool. And it's not something that happens overnight, like that switch of mindset, but like reminding yourself every time you're in that, like you're saying, Danny, it's like a toxic way of looking at it, like the whole starving artist culture. I totally agree. That's very outdated. Like you don't have to be a starving artist. Like paying dues, that's really bullshit, honestly. But the real work is like on that mindset portion, and kind of having these constant reminders. Okay, reframe that. I know that was like a negative trigger for me. Reframe it. Something that I literally do when I'm alone. It's so crazy. Oh, well, we talked about this on the hike. I said I have Tourette's, like on the side. It's not diagnosed. I'm so sorry if anyone has Tourette's in here. But I'll literally be like, change. Like I'll just say it out loud. And it actually is something, I read that in the Art of Impossible by Stephen Kotler. He literally says, say out loud, change, like change. And it really gives you a cue to change a thought pattern. That's really weird, but it's actually like the kind of things that it takes once we're in adulthood now. So it's really hard to start changing these thought patterns, right? I love what you said, Drake, about the job is working for you. I saw that recently somewhere too. And it's like, oh yeah, it's not something I have to do. I get to wake up, I get to go make money to fund my actual purpose, my actual ambition. I love that reframe.
I found what works good for me is literally writing out a calendar and putting a to-do list for like every day. So I work a full-time job. I'm actually working right now, but I blocked off this time so that I would be uninterrupted. But I literally, every day I wake up, I open up my notes app and I go to work, drink protein, go work out, and then go to the fucking studio. And I, check off each item as I do it. And I think before that, it can be weird trying to manage your time because you're like, I don't have any time. But now that I'm actually putting these on my calendar, I'm like, yeah, I actually do have like 4 hours after work, but I'm spending 2 of those watching Real Housewives of Atlanta on TV. But now that I'm more conscious about it, I'm like, you know what? I only have 4 hours left in my day. I probably need to take my ass to the studio.
Yes, I put something in the chat. This isn't exactly what Tony Robbins said, but it was basically when I get home from my 9 to 5, I start my 5 to 9. It wasn't exactly that, but when I heard him say that, I was like, right. He was like, if you want something bad enough, and this is the thing, a lot of people say they want something and they don't really want it like that. We're just saying things, right? That's something you got to deal with yourself. Not you. I'm not singling you out, Danny. I'm just saying in general. But yeah, that 5 to 9, that 5 to 5 starts after work, right? Yeah, I think Lejada, and Lejada, I'll have you be our last question / comment, and then Drake is super easy to reach, by the way. So we'll make sure that we do a follow-up call at some point too, and we'll all stay connected. But Lejada, go ahead. Let's
awesome. Thank you all so much. I'm not gonna be long, I promise. Thank y'all first and foremost for having this space for us. This is really invaluable. But just really quick, I really just kind of wanted to touch on having like the tools, but maybe not having the people. Because I know before we talked about just wearing all those hats, and when you are an artist and you kind of have to fill those spaces, and then sometimes just being independent and trying to build that team, you can come across a lot of people who, you know, they can see your potential, but they're more so interested in taking and not really adding any value. So I just wanted to get you guys' take on like having the tools maybe to make projects, but not necessarily the people who would be more experts in those areas, in like rough work, and how you guys feel about that, just kind of putting those hats on and doing what you have to do, or like waiting, which is, you know, really the only other option if you're not willing to do it yourself. So
I'd say Tony Robbins also says this: the greatest resource that we all have is resourcefulness, right? And YouTube, like if you just need to figure out how to do something, YouTube University, that is it. And also, me and Mickey, we're working on something on the side that's gonna just be amazing for a hard drive. Like, so, oh my gosh, it's gonna be awesome. I'm not gonna speak on too much of it right now, but it's gonna be able to help in that area. I'll tell you that. But for now, just YouTube. And I wouldn't suggest going to get a manager until you have something for them to manage, right? A lot of people prematurely go and get managers and expect the manager to introduce them to these people and so on and so forth. No, the job of the manager is to manage your business, as an artist. So you just be giving away free money for something that you can learn to do yourself. Does that make sense? Like, does that answer your question?
yes, basically,
Okay.
like it's okay to do it yourself if you're going to be serious about it. Because for me, like I pretty much gave up the life I had before, and just to be 100,000% focused on this, because it's this or nothing. So like I have the time to do it. But yeah, I'm not playing. Like I had a whole business, and it's like God said, baby, I need you over here. So
Yes, that is
Just have
a
faith
that is a
that's gonna
full
work.
that's a full circle moment with the metaphor Drake gave in the beginning of, you know, the guy in the water and wanting success as bad as he wants to breathe, right? That's really, really dope, that you stepped out on that faith. That's really what it takes, those big risks. Big risk, big reward. Okay, guys, I got to get ready for a massage and this dinner tonight. Just fingers crossed. We need some moolah to get this web app all the way I need it to be. Thank you, Drake, so much for spending this hour with us. You will you send me your presentation so I can send it to everyone?
Okay, yeah, for sure. I will.
If that's okay with you.
Yep.
Even if it's just the PDF form. And we'll do this again really, really soon. Me and Drake are working on something on the side, like he said, for all of you. And I hope that everyone enjoys the rest of their Friday. Thank you so much for taking the time for this intro to artist development.
Yeah,
all
thank
right,
you guys.
we love y'all. All right, peace. Bye.